Do it.
Good evening, everybody. This is the Selectmen's meeting of September 23rd, 2014. This is a continuation. We went into executive session at 6:05 and came out, and now we'll continue our regular meeting. We have a temporary clerk today, Mr. Teitelbaum. Mr. Teitelbaum, give us the roll call, please.
Present are Selectman Whiteside, Chairman Slavin, Selectman Teitelbaum, Town Administrator Sullivan.
Okay. Any announcements, Mrs. Whiteside?
Yes. Just want to remind everybody that today is the first day of autumn. Remind everybody about the Oakdale Playground cleanup on the 5th, which is a Sunday. I guess it interferes maybe with, I don't know, football or something like that. And please, if people are having trouble with their pets, if you can't afford them, please call the animal control officer and surrender them. I had occasion to personally see the 2 animals that were rescued from the Blackstone house, and I don't think that we ever understand what kind of cruelty may be on purpose or not on purpose. But if you can't afford your animals, there are ways to help you do that, and have a nice evening.
Mr. Teitelbaum?
So I've got a few. First off, Wareham Coffee Hour, Thursday at 9 o'clock in Agawam Village. The guest is being confirmed, so it's a secret. This is open to the public. A couple of business matters. We received, dated September 18th, 2014, a letter from the Massachusetts Department of Transportation. This is in regard of the change of Wonkinco Avenue in the Swiss Beach area, the change of the name to Oceanside Drive. And this letter is directed to our town administrator, and I'll read the first paragraph. Pursuant to General Law, Chapter 85, Section 3, I hereby notify the town of Wareham that the Highway Division of the Massachusetts Department of Transportation does not approve of the change of the street name Wonkinco Avenue to Oceanside Drive in the Swiss Beach neighborhood. The street Wonkinco Avenue, as existing on June 1st, 1998, is hereby reinstated. The town is directed to comply with the terms of this notice and the order contained within 30 days. So, to the folks who live down there, per the state, you no longer live on Oceanside Drive, you're back on Wonkinco Ave. The next piece of mail from the state came from the Department of Conservation and Recreation. This relates back to permitting in flood zone areas, building permits and so forth, and I'm not going to go through the whole correspondence here. Essentially what they did was they came down and audited some prior building permits that were issued in October of 2012. That's before any of the present building or director of inspectional services, or actually the last one we just had were in there, and found that there was a lack of coordination between the inspectional services and conservation, and that apparently in their view insufficient heed was being paid to the flood zones. So this is just a notification from the state informing us of this. It's retrospective. It's not any referendum on what we're doing currently, but people should know about that. And the other thing is, I wasn't able to dig it up, but I know that we're coming up on the annual Grumpy's Run. I haven't been able to find the date. Madam Moderator's, this is in honor of Madam Moderator's late brother, so perhaps she could come up and give us the details.
Thank you, Peter. I can wait to citizens' participation if you'd rather. But Grumpy's 5K run, this is the 3rd year. It is a walk or a run. It's a 5K, and it's held up at the Frogfoot Bog up in the Makepeace Village. It's a unique walk run in that it's around the cranberry bogs during picking season. And it's sponsored by the Cranberry Educational Foundation, which was established in honor of Bob Grumpy Conway. And a lot of people may be familiar with his work. He was a photographer of nature. If you saw the banners on Main Street with the cranberry and the frost last winter, Economic Development asked for permission to use one of his photos for that banner that was up all last winter. That's somewhat of what his work is about, and it's to educate people about the cranberry industry and cranberry farming, not in Wareham, but in all of the United States as well. He became a real environmentalist and wanted to protect things that were rare and endangered, and he did that by taking pictures and showing people what was out there and what needed to be protected. But most importantly, he loved to share what he knew, and he shared it not only with cranberry growers or developers, but he shared it most importantly with school children. He loved to have the school children come and show them what a tree frog looked like, or what a baby raccoon looked like, or what Alan, help me, the little ponds in the spring. Vernal pools, those kinds of things.
Butterflies, insects, you name it.
Yeah, you name it, insects, moths, butterflies, deer, hawks, osprey. There's an outstanding collection. And so the Cranberry Educational Foundation wants to recognize through scholarships students who are going on to study the environment, or to protect our environment and our environmental areas of the community. And so it's a little unique, it's a little different than a normal 5K. There's a wonderful lunch afterwards, and the first year the awards were a bluebird house and a wren house, and so a little bit different than your typical 5K race. People who want to register can go to www.racewire.com and register. There is a Grumpy's 5K race Facebook page. There is an email if someone wants to contact to ask a question, and it's grumpys5krace@gmail.com. And the race is on Saturday, November 1st at 9 a.m. So we hope everybody will come up. There's just as many walkers as there are racers, so it's a fun afternoon for a whole family. So come and enjoy.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Claire. I usually sit out in the middle of the tracks and we're giving direction. It's usually the wrong direction, though. Anything else, Mr. Titlebaum?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Just as a recap, on the Wankinko Oceanside Drive, the town will be forwarding out to those residences where they're going back to their original street numbers and name. We'll be forwarding information out as soon as we can. We have to determine first whether the selectmen have to do it, the road commissioners, which are no longer the selectmen, or the planning board. There's a little question on that, but we'll take care of that shortly and get that done. We do apologize for all the confusion and the difficulty it's going to cause for a while as well. I was at the Mass Municipal Association meeting this past week in Boston, and I've been complaining for a while about certain things in life, and they've got 10 items that they are going to be what they call partnerships to build a stronger Commonwealth. I'm just going to read them very quickly. I'm not going into any details, but just to let you know that we finally have at least one group that's on the same page that we are. They're looking to basically restore revenue sharing, which would be unique in these particular days. Increasing the overall fiscal capacity of cities and towns is central to the future prosperity of the Commonwealth. Next one, fix the school finance law. We've been complaining about the formula for financing our schools. We here in Wareham feel that we're $2 to $3 million short by the way the formula is put together. Next item, key fund programs and obligations. Next, support fairness and local taxation. Partnerships, oppose unfunded mandates. I'll probably be in jail one of these days for that one, but this is actually something that, again, I'll repeat, when 2.5 came in, part of the 2.5 thing was that all mandates would be funded. Partnership policies, invest in essential public infrastructure. The town of Wareham probably has infrastructure in excess of $60 million. It needs to be fixed with no money to do it. Invest in essential public technology. Another thing, unless you get up close to the way people do things today and speed it up, everything just costs more money. And we basically in this town here have no room to even store records anymore. We have paper everywhere, and it just doesn't work, and we have nobody to help us with it. Empower the community, driving planning and zoning, driven by the planning and zoning. Policy 9, allow cities and towns to effectively manage. And number 10, commit to constant communication and direct dialogue. Again, one of our major points of being transparent and communicating with the citizens. So these are all programs that we have another organization that will work with us, and hopefully with the other communities we're working with, we can make some headway in this area. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Titlebaum. All set.
The next item is citizens' participation. Is there anybody here tonight to speak to the board? Just come forward, please. In the back. Good evening.
Good evening, thank you. This is just Sandy Slavin. Is there a time for the Oakdale cleanup? You said Sunday, but I don't remember a time.
10 a.m.
Thank you.
Thank you. And there is a porta potty going to be there.
Anyone else who'd like to speak to the board tonight? Okay, moving on. We have appointments to the Council on Aging Board of Directors. So, would Rosalie Ballou please come up?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Am I on?
You are on.
Okay.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to do this?
Well, I just moved to Wareham 16 years ago. Came here once years ago, before I retired, and thought this is where I want to retire, and I did. And I've loved it ever since. But just a couple of years ago, I started, my neighbor asked me if I would, join the seniors in bingo on Thursdays, and so I've been doing it the last couple of years, and still not good at bingo, but I enjoy it, and for me, it's a great learning experience. The women I sit at the table with, it's like I always come away with something, some new thing, past, present, future, knowledge. It's a learning experience, and I've been procrastinating, saying that I want to get involved more with the senior center, but kept putting it off. But then someone mentioned about an opening on the board, would I be interested, and I decided it's time to stop procrastinating and jump on board. Do my part, rather than just enjoying it, participate in the grunt work.
Thank you.
Mrs. Whiteside, any questions? Mr. Titlebaum?
No questions.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for applying. It's a board that has been really short members for quite a while. The previous chair who's sitting behind you, Mrs. McDonald, was the last person to have any effective council on aging. It's been a while. We appreciate you helping out. But no questions, sir?
Motion?
All those make a motion, please?
I'll make the motion. I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Rosalie Ballou as a member of the Council on Aging Board of Directors to a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2017.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Titlebaum, second by Mrs. Whiteside. No questions, sir? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 300.
Okay.
You'll be able to pick up your paperwork at the office, at the Selectman's office. You get sworn in downstairs in the clerk's office. Next.
Yes, if you stop by the Selectmen's, for all of the appointments we're going to make tonight, if you stop by the Selectmen's office tomorrow, your appointment sheet will be filled out, and you just go down, take it downstairs to the town clerk, take the oath of office, and then you're on the board officially. Next up, Peter Dunlop.
Hi, Peter.
Same question. Tell us about yourself and why you're interested.
If the light's on, is it working?
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Lights always on.
My name's Peter Dunlop. I'm a semi-retired contractor. I've lived here 12 years now. I got involved with the volunteers down the beaches a couple of years ago and at the substation this past year. I'd like to get some sort of a program going with the elderly to help them take care of their homes.
Oh.
There's a lot of people that need a lock fixed, a window replaced, stuff like that. I want to do my part, but then I want to get some of the other elderly people. I know they're not all hopeless or helpless. Then there's electricians, plumbers, whatever, kind of get that kind of a program going. That's what I wanted to do. That's why I wanted to get involved on the board.
Thank you.
Mr. Whiteside, any questions?
Sounds like a great idea, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Titlebaum?
No.
I have no questions. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you for applying.
Okay, I move that the Town of Wareham Board of Selectmen appoint Peter Dunlop as a member of the Council on Aging Board of Directors to a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2017.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Titlebaum, second by Mrs. Whiteside. No questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 300.
Okay, next up, John DeBella.
See the light, it's on.
The light's on.
Lights on.
That means you're going out to God knows how many homes.
Oh, boy. Regrettably, I have to withdraw my application because I have prior commitments that I have to do. But I'm sorry for wasting your time,
Nope,
No waste of time.
okay?
no wasting time, and thank you for your honesty.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yep, if something else comes up, please apply. We have one more, Peter. Separate, came in early.
Yes,
Judith Grassi.
yes. Judith Grassi?
Thank you.
Good evening. Same question. Tell us about yourself and why you're interested in this.
I've been a nurse for 23 years in this town.
Could you get a little closer to the microphone?
I've been a nurse for 23 years. I've
Thank
lived
you.
in this town. I grew up in this town. I have a parish nursing background, which is, it's like community nursing. It was kind of put together for the Affordable Care so that it would network a lot of the services and stuff that were being suggested, like building and things like that, helping the elderly, it's intergenerational. I've been going to school. I did my internship here for the Board of Health to learn about, things that are important about building and things like that. That came in handy for inspections and things like that. I worked in nursing home. I've done cradle to grave. I started off in nursing home. I did geriatrics. I did rehab. I worked in both alcohol and addiction and homeless. I've done all sorts of things. And I've done a lot of community outreach and volunteering for the town. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Mrs. Whiteside.
Thank you very much for applying.
Thank you.
Mr. Titlebaum.
No further questions.
Thank you very much, Judith.
Okay, I move that the Town of Wareham Board of Selectmen appoint Judith Grassi as a member of the Council on Aging Board of Directors to a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2018. You get the long term.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Titlebaum, second by Mrs. Whiteside. Any questions? No heard? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 300.
Once again, stop by the Selectman's office, pick up the form, take it down to the clerks and get sworn in. Just so people understand, the Council on Aging has 11 members.
9.
Is it 9? Because our
9.
sheet still says 11.
I know, it's corrected
Did they
tonight.
finally correct it?
Yeah, it's been corrected. The town meeting changed it.
The other thing that you need to
It hasn't been
know,
corrected on our sheet.
No,
No.
Regular 11.
That's because they're still copying the same piece.
Right. the other
I'll
thing, it's
cross it
also
out.
called the Council on Aging and Senior Services, according to town meeting vote that I read today.
Yes.
Well, you can change the name on the website, I guess. But anyway,
Social
Social services.
Yes.
if it is indeed 9 members, the board is now full based upon what we've received here as current members, based upon appointments the past couple of weeks. We're up to
full.
6. The 3 we've appointed tonight have made it 9, so there's a full board. They should have a quorum. They should be able to meet and once again become effective. I know Mrs. McDonald ran into an issue with getting members there, ran into an issue with even getting members interested. So I'm glad that once again it looks like this committee stepped up and ready to go.
Excuse me,
I'd like
we
to-
had our first meeting yesterday.
Nice.
Uh,
Thank you.
Excellent.
If you want to come up for a minute, Jean is the one that really is the person who pushed to get a whole bunch of people to step up and do this. And basically, Jean, it's time to go to work now. You've got a good group of people, and I expect to see a lot of good things. So thank you very much. We appreciate it. Next.
Okay, next we have licenses and permits. We have an application for a one-day all-alcohol license from John Verrier, 89 Marion Road, Wareham.
Hi there, I'm John Verrier.
Just a quick explanation of what you're doing, that's all, sir.
We're having the 25th year anniversary of our wedding over at the Box Mill, and there's going to be a little reception there.
I've gone through the paperwork, Mr. Titlebaum, everything is in place.
Yes, I have. Everything is here, the tip certification, the proper insurance forms. So give me 1 second here.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Your daughter is the one who was in charge of the Wee Wee Annex.
Yes.
She did a very nice job. We will continue to work on that. And how is she doing?
She's doing quite well. I think the only thing left they need
Is the roof?
is really half of the roof. Some of the
Okay.
people that have volunteered have done half the roof, but it really needs to be continued and possibly painted after that.
And be what?
And possibly painted after that.
Okay. We'll get you on our schedule, I promise.
Okay,
I promise.
I'll tell her.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
That wasn't a question.
Okay. I move that the Town of Wareham Board of Selectmen grant a special license to John J. Verrier Jr. of 89 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. For the sale of all alcoholic beverages on October 26th, 2014, between the hours of 1:30 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. at the Box Mill Hall, 158 Tyhonet Road, Wareham.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Titlebaum, second by Mrs. Whiteside. Any questions? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 300.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Pick up your permanent Selectman's office at Town Hall.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, we have an application for change of hours from Sullivan Wine and Spirits. Is there anybody here from Sullivan Wine and Spirit? There is not. I've gone through the application. All is in order. I will in the motion.
It's actually, there's three of them altogether.
Right.
This is the standard change time. Part of it has to do with the 10 o'clock change that the state allowed.
I'll go ahead and make the motion then, Mr. Chairman? Okay.
Just go right through.
I move that the Town of Wareham Board of Selectmen approve the application of DJ Sullivan LLC, doing business as Sullivan Wine and Spirits, 260 Marion Road, Wareham, Massachusetts, for a change of hours. Current hours are May 15th through September 7th, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. until 10 p.m., and Sunday, 12 noon until 6 p.m., and from September 8th through May 14th, Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. till 9 p.m., Friday and Saturday, open 9 a.m. till 10 p.m., and Sunday from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. The new hours being the same, except Sunday, May 15th through September 7th, opening at 10 a.m. till 6 p.m., and let's see, September 18th, May 14th, Sunday, opening 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. September 8th,
September
is it?
8th.
It is. Yeah, correction, September 8th to May 14th, 10 to 5. Say second.
Motion by
Second.
Mr. Titlebaum, second by Mrs. Whiteside. Any questions? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 300.
Give me 1 second. We have more. Next up,
Anchors.
similar application from Anchor Liquors. Once again, everything is in order. Is there anybody present from Anchor Liquors?
No.
No. Motion? I move that the Town of Wareham Board of Selectmen approve the application of Veniac Liquors Incorporated, doing business as Anchor Liquors, 2360 Cranberry Highway, West Wareham, for a change of hours. Current actual hours are October through April, Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. till 10 p.m., Sunday, 12 noon until 8 p.m. May through September, current hours are Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. till 11 p.m., Sunday, 12 noon to 9 p.m. Requested new hours are October through April, Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., Sunday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and May through September, Monday through Sunday, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m.
No,
through Saturday, Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., Sunday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Titlebaum, second by Mrs. Whiteside. Any questions? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 300.
Okay. Second here, I just want to keep these together. Why do we have two in here? For some reason, there are two certificates in here. I'm just going to sign both. I don't know why they are, but. Next up is Onset Village Market. Is there anyone here from the Village Market? No. Same thing, change of hours. I move that the Town of Wareham Board of Selectmen approve the license application of the Onset Village Market, doing business as the Onset Village Market, 231 Onset Ave, Onset, Mass, for a change of hours. Current hours are Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., Sunday, 12 noon to 11 p.m. New hours are Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., Sunday, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Titlebaum, second by Mrs. Whiteside. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 300.
Okay, that takes care of the licenses and permits. Next up is town business. Chairman's already informed me that we're not going to be taking up policy 0801 until we have a full board. Let's see. Do you want to jump ahead and hear the presentations, Mr. Buckminster and then Mr. Menard, regarding their town meeting warrant articles?
We can do Mr. Buckminster, then do Mrs. Donald, get that out, and then do David.
Okay,
Be real quick.
so,
Gary, you still have that appointment,
Yes,
Okay.
that's okay, go ahead.
No, you said you needed to go quickly, so we'll do that. Why don't you come up, Gary, we'll do your article first. David's been on vacation, we'll make him suffer a little bit.
He's not even paying any
He's not
attention
even
to you.
hearing, he's still way too mellow. You were away way too long. Go ahead, Gary.
Good evening.
On your article.
Going on the article, also, it's nice with all the people volunteering, we have actually filled our Marine Resource Committee just about also.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see people turning out now, coming
And
in,
an associate, too.
liking it. Good
Mr.
deal.
Wheeler's a good associate.
I have a request to transfer funds from the Harbor Service Permits, receipts for reserve for appropriations account for $44,500. Some of the line items are were funds that we reduced out of our budget during the budget cycle to lower it, and then we're picking up the costs of whatever we can so it doesn't fully come out of the town's end of the funding.
Article 18, in case you're looking.
I didn't have the article, I'm sorry. Basically what it does is it helps us maintain our navigational markers. We have about 125 navigation aids that we maintain, speed markers, swim markers, rock markers, navigational aids down the Weeweeanic, everywhere. We also have new town moorings that we've installed. We've also got a few others in different parts of town that we have to upkeep, maintain. We also take care of the public access points, Bessie Park, Tempest Knob, thank you. And the Onset Pier. Onset Pier docks are in really tough condition, so we're trying to get some Band-Aids on them as soon as possible, just so we don't have any issues, because next year we're probably gonna have to make a run at some new docks down the pier, because we've passed our prime completely. The manufacturer even came down and said that they're probably the oldest ones in existence still, and he's surprised they're still floating. So, anyway, onto that, we also do cover the dockage for the patrol boats. Obviously, we pulled some of our boats out of a marina, and we keep them at the town pier now, but we don't have that same ability in Wareham, so we do have to rent from a marina to be able to store our boats, because we don't have a secure location to keep our boats. We also maintain our mooring barge. We've been pulling out moorings all over the place. We're trying to now streamline the mooring fields, so we've got to make sure that involves some sandblasting and taking care of the equipment that we have to do these. Maintenance of vehicles for the guys getting around, and safety equipment. We try to keep up on our life jackets, our winter gear, our tow lines, anything that has to do with safety on our patrol boats. We try to keep up to date because you're pretty much stuck in areas where if you don't have it, you're in trouble. So I do have one issue I have to cover is a budget replacement. Both the Wareham Police and myself provided some law enforcement coverage for the events that took place in the canal. Unfortunately, they were costs that we had to endure, and they did not cover the expenses of it. So I worked, both Chief Walsh and myself came to some ideas on how we could cover it so it doesn't strain his budget. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover his overtime expenses for the marine-related event that took place. So we're going to be able to cover some of those issues because he had to work with us to provide the overflow for that event. So we'll be picking up some of the overflow so we can maintain his budget, and we took a little hit also, so we're going to cover that. Engineering professional services, we're looking to update our harbor management software. We have a system that we've created back in the late 90s going to 2000 to keep track of the moorings. We are looking at a web-based program where we can update boat information. The mooring inspectors can sign on. They can actually update the moorings as they go through their own access. We can upload pictures of the mooring holders' boats just in case something gets stolen, if we need to identify it. And we're going to be going into a full reorganization of mooring fields. We're going to start cleaning them up, condense them. Eelgrass is an issue. We're going to try to work with the funding that we received, and there's just a lot on our plate this winter. So we're also working on the harbor management plan. We have to get a company to come in and take a look at it through assembling it, as well as I want to do a review of the bylaws that we have. Lastly, we're just printing mailing supplies. We mail out the harbor service permits, the flyers, and just some information that we're going to try and get out next year. Try and promote the harbors.
Mrs. Whiteside, any questions?
Yes. I heard you say that you rent space from a marina because we do not have space to store a vessel.
Safely, correct.
Is a locked facility not a safe facility?
The facility that we have available to us would be Bessie Park, and I don't want to take up public dockage, and I don't...
You take it out of the water?
No, when we leave our patrol boat and our other boat at the...
So it stays in the
Marinas
water?
Wareham. Yep.
So you are not... Okay, so...
Yeah, we
it's-
shaved like $7,000 out of off our budget from moving stuff into the pier, but we don't have that same availability. Plus, we've got camera systems, we've got security systems down at the pier that keep an eye on our stuff. So
Thank you.
I just don't have that in
Thank
the
you.
Wareham side.
Mr. Titlebaum.
All that for 44 grand sounds like a bargain.
We're trying.
All kidding aside, I will say that I'm very happy at the cooperation that's occurring between you and Chief Walsh.
It's been a great change of the whole administration. Chief Walsh, Lieutenant Walchuk, all the guys at the station. We're working a lot with Sergeant Gerard on training, and we're really pulling things together. So,
Thank you.
On the canal celebration, there's no chance of going to the Army Corps of Engineers and say you were doing work for them during that event?
No,
If
not
you
a
were-
chance.
If you were on the ship, they said they were. So you
Sandwich,
know.
I believe, budgeted 50 or 75,000, as well as Plymouth.
I know.
I'm sorry,
Bourne.
Bourne for the events, and
We did.
we got the overflow of the events, and so
Understand. I just want people to also understand that the Waterways Fund that we're taking the harvest service permits from, that is what we can use that money for.
correct.
We can't use the money for anything that people think we can. It's restricted by state law how we can use it.
We try to cover as much as possible out of our budget without overstepping our bounds. But we also have to look at our infrastructure, and we do have some big problems coming down the road with the pier and boat ramp deteriorations and things like that, which are just expensive. So,
And, I would ask for a motion for favorable action for someone, please.
So moved on Article 18.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Whiteside for favorable action, second by Mr. Titlebaum. All those in favor of favorable action? Vote is 3-0-0.
Before you leave?
thank you. Good night.
Before you leave?
Oh, yes.
November 7th. Just say yes. Yes, dear.
I'm not sure if I can. I may have a prior engagement on November 7th.
Could you let me know, please?
Yes,
Thank you.
got it. Take care.
You want to find a prior engagement if you can.
Okay, next up, Mrs. McDonald. We'll return to agenda, this will be agenda item 7D, discussion and vote on policy for veterans plaques.
Mrs. McDonald basically has stepped up. We lost Jim Newman some time ago now, and we've had a real issue with the plaques at Town Hall, which lists all the veterans that have passed away, et cetera. This has been kind of a real sore spot for all of us. And Mrs. McDonald and Mr. Leggett have stepped up with also some of the town to get this all straightened out, redone, and get everybody up current, because we've probably got a couple hundred plaques, little plaques sitting in that range, I think. Plus we have lists we have to update, so why don't you go ahead and explain what we need to do?
Correct.
Joe, if you'd like to come up? No, it's okay.
Love me, Joe.
You can put a cigarette in your mouth, nobody will notice.
Currently, there is no policy, criteria, anything in place for either the veterans plaques in Town Hall, if somebody wanted to put a veteran bench up, if somebody wanted to put a veteran picture up on town-owned land or town-owned property. You guys have a copy. It's very short, simple, to the point. All the paperwork will be submitted to the town's veteran agent, who can vet that the paperwork is correct and that it's not forged. I don't think anybody would do that. Once the veteran agent has verified that all the paperwork is done, they would inform the selectmen in writing that veteran John Doe has been vetted and they are adequate and meet these criteria for a plaque on the wall in Town Hall, for a bench in the middle of town, whatever they're applying for. And that's it. Very simple.
Any questions from the board?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
Veterans may include U.S. Army, U.S. Navy, U.S. Air Force, U.S. Marine Corps, U.S. Coast Guard, Merchant Marine. What about the Air National Guard?
They fall under
They
Army.
fall under Army.
Army and the National Guard and Reserve both fall under Army.
Thank you.
Mr. Titlebaum?
No questions, but thank you for taking the time to
We all
come up
thank
with
you.
this.
Mr. Titlebaum, will you read the policy into the record, and then we can vote?
Yes. Criteria to have name on plaques in the Town Hall, 54 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, as adopted by the Board of Selectmen. 1, veterans must have entered active war service as a resident of the town of Wareham. 2, veterans may include U.S. Army, U.S. Navy, U.S. Air Force, U.S. Marine Corps, U.S. Coast Guard, and Merchant Marine. 3, veterans, their family or friends must submit a copy of the Veterans 53-55, DD-256, DD-214, or at NGB-22 with letter certifying service from Headquarters Command or other official, honorable discharge or death document to the veteran agent for the town of Wareham verification. The veteran agent will then notify in writing the selectmen that veteran X has been verified by them and is now eligible to have name placed. 4, wartime periods will be based on the federal government guidelines. The Wareham Board of Selectmen have the authority under Wareham's Home Rule Charter to change or modify this policy as needed.
Second. I have one more question.
Motion by Mr. Titlebaum, second by Mrs. Whiteside. Questions, Mrs. Whiteside?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
What about a missing in action?
They would have to, their family member, somebody would have to apply
But they can,
with their paperwork. Yep. Yep, as long as they have one of the 53, 55, 256.
is one of those a missing in
one of
action
those.
MIA?
Yes.
I just want to make that clear.
Yes, POW, MIA, they're all covered under these numbers.
Thank you so much.
These papers.
Okay. Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 3-0-0.
300.
Thank
This
you,
will
Liz.
become effective immediately, and as a note to the office, please codify this by naming it policy 14 dash whatever it is, wherever we are in the policies. It's the next policy adopted in 2014. Thank you, Mrs. McDonald.
Mr. Sullivan, you work with Mrs. McDonald and Mr. Leggett as far as when they're gonna do stuff, so you have an MOU back and forth, basically.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work.
Again, we appreciate this very much.
Okay, returning back to the agenda, we will go to Mr. Menard, and then we'll do the petitioner article.
The Article 17. You definitely had way too good a vacation, you know that?
This is repair of municipal streetlights and period lights.
Right now, municipal maintenance is looking for $25,000 for the repairs of the streetlights. Currently, we had a contract that expired in the spring. It went from 2009 to 2014, and unfortunately, it's not funded at this time, so I'm looking to get this $25,000 to get the lights repaired.
Questions? Mrs. Whiteside?
I just have some clarification, maybe people don't know this. In order for you to shut off a street light, does it cost you money, or can we just go around and randomly shut off street lights to save money?
No, that costs us between $300 and $600 a fixture, every single light.
Okay, so what you are asking for is to repair and maintain, and to turn them off is not a solution.
That's correct.
Thank you.
It's not funded. Yeah.
Mr. Titlebaum?
The only question I have is that I understand that this is contingent upon free cash being certified by town meeting, or is this something that the town administrator will be able to find in the regular budget?
No, the reason we're bringing this forward is that we don't have the funds in the regular budget. And actually, this is one of the items we've had to cut. I can't tell you how many calls we're getting about it. People really don't understand how we can't have the funds to fix the streetlights, and we truly don't. The reason why this is going for free cash is really it's a capital item when it comes down to it. And although we're only requesting $25,000, we have spoken with NSTAR to try and have them bring in an additional funds to upgrade to LED lights as well, which would bring the whole cost of it over, even if we're getting the grant funding. So I'd like to bring this forward as a true capital item. Otherwise, I couldn't recommend using free cash for it.
Thank you.
David, do we know about how many lights are actually out?
We currently have over 1,790 streetlights, and there's quite a few out. I didn't get the exact number, but there's plenty of them out there.
It's a major expense for us down the line.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other
Okay.
questions?
Well, every neighborhood is telling me that their neighborhood's the only one with the streetlights out. So.
That's not the case. It's equal distribution.
Yeah.
Oh,
Equal opportunity.
need a motion for favorable action.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Titlebaum, second by Mr. Whiteside. Any other questions? None heard. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Vote is 3-0-0 for favorable action. Thank you very much, David.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
And it should be noted that the amount is $25,000.
Up to 25. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, jumping back
Thank
on the agenda. Discussion and vote on citizens petition articles submitted for town meeting. There are two of those. We only have one petitioner here. Selectman Holmes isn't available. So why don't we start with Mr. and Mrs. Gabriel and their counsel? Good evening.
Good evening.
I have one question for you, Counsel. Are you going before, or have you already scheduled a meeting with the planning board for the zoning change?
We haven't yet. I think the...
But you will be?
We will be, yes.
Okay.
We have to appear before them and get a recommendation or not
Yeah.
before
You
it
have
can
to get it done,
appear.
I think, so many days before town meeting.
Yes, 21, I think it is?
No, it's less than that.
14?
14
14.
maybe.
Could he identify himself for the record?
Okay, would both parties identify themselves, and then we can start?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, for the record, my name is Bill Proya, and I'm here for the petitioners tonight.
Christopher Gabriel,
Hi, Chris.
2512 Cranberry Highway.
Why don't you go ahead and explain what the article is?
Sure. So I don't know if you had a chance to look at it, but we did put a little narrative explanation. So the idea here is to create a very limited district where gas stations would be permitted by special permit by the Zoning Board of Appeals. So in other words, if the article is adopted by town meeting by the requisite number of a percentage, and then if someone wanted to propose a gas station in that particular, it functions like an overlay district, it would have to go before the Zoning Board of Appeals for the full special permit review. And although Chris is here as a sponsor, you know, every article needs a sponsor. There were more than 100 citizens signing the petition, so we feel like we're speaking for them as well, a little broader cross-section of the community. And the real genesis of this were some zoning meetings before the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Planning Board for a specific proposal. And out of that came a perception that there may be a need now to create the opportunity for this use in somewhere in town. And the idea was in a very narrow part of town where the impacts are already there. It would focus it away from residential development and yet get the benefits of it. So when you completely shut off a use under zoning, it tends to, as you can imagine, stifle innovation, investment, and the ability to take advantage of new technologies and markets, new products. People aren't investing in that anymore. And eventually those uses can really fall into disrepair or just not keep up with the market and other zoning in town. So for example, there was mention that there is development happening in town, and you want to be prepared for that, be able to react to that instead of being behind the eight ball. So that use would be available again to support increased development in the town. And again, without repeating some of the problems in the past which is also unproductive, is to have too much stimulation. In other words, to permit a use in too many zoning districts or too easily, not by special permit or site plan review, but maybe by right. And then, again, the other thing can happen in that case is you don't get enough in the case of when you shut it off, too much in the case when your zoning is too broad and too easy. So this article tries to balance that by specifically limiting it to commercial general districts and applying some more dimensional requirements, the size of the property, the location close to federal highway layouts, and fronting on Cranberry Highway. So again, trying to create a balance, encourage the use to make sure that it's available and innovative, but not permit it in so many places that it becomes a nuisance and it becomes overbuilt. And that's really the purpose of the article and the citizens petition.
Mrs. Whiteside, any questions?
Yes, please. Could you spell your last name, sir?
Yes, sorry, P-R-O-I-A. I have a card if you want.
Thank you.
That'd be helpful.
Yes, thank you. Can you say it one more time for me? This is to amend Article 3 for the general commercial zoning district. So, and you just said something about it would be bounded on the highways and something. Can you just repeat what you said in the last, like, 7 sentences?
Yes, so.
If you have it there, just read off the
Yes.
Yes.
conditions that
Please.
you listed in the article when you
So-
filed it.
Right now, that use, the filling station use, is not permitted in this district.
Mhm.
And so the proposed change would permit that by special permit by the Zoning Board of Appeals. And then specifically, in addition to that, the lot that it would be proposed on would have to be at least an acre in size.
And that's
And
part of the petition?
Yes, this is exactly what the zoning bylaw change would do. The land that the use was proposed on would have to be have to be within 2,000 feet of a federal highway layout or an interchange. So anything further away from the highway would not be permitted. And
Thank you.
And the last thing is the land would have to have direct access, meaning frontage essentially, on Cranberry Highway. So all those combine to restrict the overbuilding or of such use, or the over proposal, but again, to make it available for innovation and to support continued community growth and convenience and safety.
Mr. Titlebaum.
I know a number of years ago, we voted to amend the zoning bylaws, I think by striking filling stations from every zoning area in town.
Correct.
At that time, I believe the logic employed was that we had enough. I think there were 20 filling stations, if not more, in town. I believe this change took place in 2000, somewhere between 2005 and 2008. But in any event, and I think it was concurrent pretty much with the establishment of this general commercial zoning district. Times change. We've lost some filling stations in town. I don't see any reason not to allow it in this particular zoning district.
Mrs. Whiteside?
Yeah, the only comment, I think it sounds to me like a good idea, but I would like to postpone our vote until there has been a recommendation by the planning board.
Well, they may not hold their hearing in time
Yeah.
for this to get into the Finance Committee report. We're under a deadline there, so my recommendation would be to go ahead with the vote.
I believe they're going to, because of the holidays and stuff, I think they're something like the 8th and the 22nd or something like that, whatever it is. They're going to meet the 1st and 3rd because we have holidays and stuff messing up. One town meeting is their date, and the 2 weeks before that, I think, is Columbus Day. So they're meeting the 1st and the 2nd week.
Well, I
Do you
think
know when your date is before them?
I don't know yet if it's been scheduled. But
I can-
I knew it would be tight if
Yeah.
your consideration or vote were postponed to get it, again, back to you folks. But, I mean, you manage your schedule.
Yeah, we can do ours as little as just before town meeting, but
Yeah.
that's a different story. You'll need to get a hold of the planning board because I know there's another article for street acceptance,
Mhm.
and you've got to get before them to do that.
Oh, yeah, we have to.
Because they're technically, in the month of October, they really wouldn't be meeting,
Right.
but I believe they went to the 1st and 3rd week. I've been monitoring this a little bit because I just want to understand it when it came forward. I've been to the ZBA meetings twice, and the ZBA was basically, they said if the ruling, the zoning was kind of modified or changed, they would look, I'm not going to say favorably, but they would look openly at it. As it was, they could not, go ahead and do anything. Their hands were tied. So if you want,
Can you say that again, please?
they felt that their,
No, in the mic, sorry.
I said they felt their hands were tied because of the way the
ZBA.
ZBA,
Yeah.
the way it's written, you have to show hardship, et cetera, under the ZBA, and they just, it didn't show. So therefore, they were stuck, so the only way to do it was to go back and look at the zoning and try and change the zoning. So it's up to you if you want to wait, but I don't think we're going to get it time-wise.
Okay, thank you.
And just so you understand also, all this does, it makes this available like a lot of other things, but again, at the end of the day, the ZBA has to approve it. So
Right.
there's a check
Yeah.
and balance in place there.
Yeah, and under the special permit standard, it's very discretionary, meaning the ZBA has a lot of ability to tailor the project, condition it.
It's extremely
probably
discretionary.
don't want to talk about that too much.
No, I know. but
Okay, so
just-
can I just ask one more question? Maybe I can.
Go ahead, Ms.
Yeah,
Whiteside.
sorry. So if we moved favorable action to support this, and the ZBA did not,
You mean the planning?
Planning
the
board.
planning board did not support this at town meeting, and it did not pass, the ZBA cannot, under our current zoning, issue a license? Is that-
Not without granting a use variance, which is pretty much impossible.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
And it's supposed to be like that because,
Thank you.
yeah,
You've
you don't
answered my-
want to permit uses that the town has said no to.
All right.
That's correct.
I'll ask for a vote of favorable action, please.
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Titlebaum, second by Mrs. Whiteside. Any other questions? All those in favor of favorable motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained?
Very
Favorable
good.
motion, 3-0-0. Good luck at the
Thank you,
planning board,
folks.
sir.
Thank you
Really appreciate
Could
it.
we have your card, sir?
Yes, I'll walk it right out.
I'll take it for the record here. Thank you, Counselor.
Let's go back to Article 1. Let's go down the line, and it says 23.
Yep. Okay, Article 1, annual operating budget. To see if the town will vote to amend this annual operating budget for the town for the fiscal year 2015 as voted pursuant to Article 6 of the annual town meeting held on April 28, 2014 and April 29, 2014, or to do or act in any manner relative thereto. Asserted by the Board of Selectmen at the request of the town administrator.
Move favorable action.
Second.
I think we've gone over this. It's just basically a
Right.
revote to make sure that's in line with the tax recap.
Yes.
Yep.
I did.
Motion by Mrs. Whiteside,
I
favorable
second it.
action, second by Mr. Titlebaum. Any questions? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Favorable action. Opposed, abstained, favorable action, 3-0-0.
Next for tonight is Article 3, fund ratified union contracts, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate or transfer from available funds sums of money to fund ratified union contracts. This would be for the following unions: clerical union, dispatchers, EMT association, 4 persons, library employees, municipal maintenance and custodians, police, steelworkers, lower management, steelworkers, upper management, superior officers, wastewater treatment plant, or to take any other action relative thereto.
Mr. Sullivan, anything on this?
I would ask that we pass over this.
I would, are we going to go back to it, or we're not going to go back to it? If we're not going to go back to it, I'd ask for a vote of no action.
You wouldn't go back to it till after the FinCom book would be printed, so.
We can take a vote of no action tonight, just to,
Yeah, and if we have
and then
to,
if we need to, we can amend the vote.
I'd ask for a motion of no action.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Titlebaum, second by Mrs. Whiteside, on no action. Any questions? All those in favor of no
Aye.
action?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 3-0-0 for no action.
Okay, next up, Article 4, transfer of funds to fund parking kiosk program. See if the town will vote to transfer a sum of money from receipts reserved for appropriation parking at Onset Pier to fund the parking kiosk program to be used for related expenses of running the parking kiosk program, with such funds to be distributed by approval of the town administrator, or to take any other action relative thereto, inserted by the Board of Selectmen at the request of the town administrator.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Sullivan, any?
This is seeking to actually use the funds that were earned through the parking program to further establish the program and also fund the mechanisms. Right now, I'd set aside approximately $14,000 for 2 more kiosk units, and the kiosk units can be placed essentially anywhere when it comes down to it. Kiosk maintenance, monitoring, and equipment from anywhere from the tickets, replacement parts. Right now, we don't have an established cache of parts for them, and we're looking to have close to 8 kiosks. So rather than having the parts shipped to us, we would like to establish the cache. So it'd be approximately $14,000. Enforcement and operations, including hiring seasonal enforcement officers and the personnel costs. Those enforcement officers actually can go throughout the parking program area and not just for the parking kiosk areas, and make sure that we're in the enforcement, and would most likely, we'd like to keep track of it by having new and different parking ticket books. I would bet that they will more than pay for themselves on the ticket revenue.
Okay.
Maintenance, signage, road striping, and tourism, approximately $20,000 for the area maintenance costs. And, just seeing, because we're going to put this information out there, it's anywhere from fixing some of the parking areas. Last year, we had a large dip in the temple lot, and of course, it was a large crater. And if those areas are earning funds, they should pay for themselves for the maintenance. This also would be able to help with some of the areas within the parking program as well. I'm looking for the I call it a kiosk, but it's actually a little building, the ticket building at the end of the where you would exit from the pier, to see if we can also grab some additional funds from an outside source, but use that as a tourism kiosk, if you will. So, and then establish the pier maintenance account and fund that at $50,000. That is a large amount to put in there, but we know that we're talking about 7 figures in future costs. So these would not be, the 50,000 would essentially sit in the account. We're just going to put that aside and not expend it, and start trying to put up enough funds so that perhaps we could have matching grants and such.
And these all come out of the parking meter fund, correct?
Correct, and we know we've brought in approximately 138,000 in revenues, in the net revenues, and I just want to make sure, before we go through the final numbers, I'm going to have the town accountant certify what's available in those funds, and we would make any of the adjustments. So.
Mrs. Whiteside, questions?
Question for you. What other purposes can these monies be used for? You have outlined basically parking.
Yeah, I've been speaking with the town accountant on it. Originally, I was seeking some of these funds for some of the street lights and such, but unless they're the street lights in those areas, they can't be used. What I thought was for some of the tourism was maybe to put up some of the banners or make the areas nicer and try and help out with any of the costs and the what I would call municipal maintenance costs in the area as well. So,
thank you.
Banners that say Onset, right?
What's that?
Banners that say "Welcome to the Village of Onset."
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Round 1 of the banners went against me. Round 2, not my fault.
That's right. Okay. Mr. Titlebaum.
No questions.
I'll move favorable action.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Whiteside, second by Mr. Titlebaum for favorable action. Any questions? None heard. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Vote is 3-0-0 for favorable action.
Okay. Next up, Article 5, fiscal year 2013 unpaid bills, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate or transfer from available funds or by any combination of the foregoing a sum of money to pay unpaid bills of prior fiscal years or to take any other action relative thereto. The invoice is W.B. Mason, incurred by the Disability Commission, the amount of $252.51, inserted by the Board of Selectmen at the request of the town administrator. This is just to pay an old bill.
5, move it.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Whiteside, favorable action, second by Mr. Titlebaum. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Vote of favorable action, 3-0-0.
Next up, Article 6, free cash to stabilization fund, to see if the town will vote to transfer a sum of money from certified free cash to the stabilization fund in accordance with the Selectmen policy, or to do or act in any manner relative thereto, inserted by the Board of Selectmen at the request of the town administrator.
Yes, this is to adhere to our fiscal policies, which is that at least 50% of free cash is transferred to the stabilization fund, and I believe we have a minimum of 150,000 on that as well. So we're
Move favorable action.
Yeah, and this is to follow DOR's recommendations that we're under.
That's correct.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Whiteside for favorable action, second by Mr. Titlebaum. Any questions? None heard. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Sorry.
Abstained? Vote of favorable action is 3-0-0.
Okay, Article 7 is the sewer system at Swiss Beach.
That's
No.
We will be
That's
meeting
all.
on the 7th.
7th.
I'm just going through them one by one, so
Okay.
people will understand what they're doing if they're following along at home. Article 8, to rescind Article 5 of the April 23rd, 2007 special town meeting, to see if the town will vote to amend the action taken under Article 5 of the April 23rd, 2007 special town meeting by rescinding the authority to borrow funds for so much of the sewer expansion project described in such article as has not yet been constructed or take any other action relative thereto inserted by the Board of Selectmen.
Is-
Is your preference to wait until we have a fuller board for this, Mr. Chairman, or do you want to go on the record now?
Let,
I think on this one here, we may want to wait.
Would you like to do that with all of the Selectmen sponsored articles? It might be a good idea. Okay. For that one, then, I will make a note for the 30th. The same with Article 9.
can I just, for the record, why are we doing that?
To give other selectmen an opportunity to weigh in.
The reason we're doing it is this was put in by the Board of Selectmen, not by any other committee or
Right.
whatever. I know there's 3 of us here, which is a majority, but I think everybody should be on record if possible on this, on all these, since we sponsored them.
Okay, would you say the same for numbers 9 and 10, which are also board-sponsored articles?
Yes.
And that would also be Article 11.
Article 11, too.
Okay, I've corrected your sheet here to reflect
Fine.
that. Article 12, Mr. Chairman, do you know where we are with that one, or are we?
That's being pulled.
Yes, I would ask that we pull that. In how we're trying to work with the personnel we have, it looks like it will not be a true reorganization because we will not be consolidating the departments together. We can actually achieve savings without putting the 2 of them together, and that would not require a warrant article or.
Move no action?
Yes.
Second.
Take a motion, no action. Motion by Mr. Tattelbaum, second by Mrs. Whiteside, for no action. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained?
And that was Article
Vote is
12.
3-0-0 for no action on Article 12.
When we're done with this, I'm making the notes here on the favorable action votes. I'll make sufficient copies for everybody on the board, Mr. Sullivan and also the town moderator.
Okay.
Articles 13 and 14 are
Next week.
for the Title V septic program with the CETA director. Article 15 is robotic closed caption TV system for the water pollution control facility to be done on the 7th with the sewer director. Article 16 is the Water Pollution Control Facility Enterprise Fund to see if the town will vote to amend its vote pursuant to Article 9 of the annual town meeting held on April 28, 2014 and April 29, 2014 to appropriate a sum of money from the Water Pollution Control Enterprise Fund. Salaries and wages, expenditures includes debt, in accordance with Chapter 44, Section 53F and a half of the Massachusetts General Laws to defray the operating and capital expenses of the Water Pollution Control Enterprise Fund for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2014 and ending June 30th, 2015, or to do or act in any manner relative thereto, inserted by the Board of Selectmen at the request of the Water Pollution Control Facility.
It's a standard process article for the enterprise.
It's a housekeeping article.
Yeah, this is another vote, much like the budget one.
Move
Right.
favorable action.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Whiteside, second by Mr. Tattelbaum for favorable action. No questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Vote for favorable action is 3-0-0.
Article 17, we already did. That was the streetlights one. Article 18, we already did. That was the Harbor Masters article. Article 19, the Housing Inspection Program Revolving Fund. Do we want to hear from the health agent on this one?
Mr. Ethier has a prior commitment, but I believe his assistant in the office was supposed to be here but didn't make it. What this is really is,
Would you like to re-invite them before we get into it?
well, we did invite them, they didn't make it.
Well, we'll try again.
The reason why I actually invited them was so they could explain to the public how successful the program was, and they were so successful that they ran out of money. Because of the number of inspections they have. So what they're doing here, this is really just an increase of, instead of a $50,000 limit, which they put on originally, which we thought was low before, they're basically asking for a $75,000 limit, because once they expend 50,000 inspections, they have to stop. And they still have quite a few more to go.
I would move favorable action on this.
I can have them come before us later. if
No.
it's
We've discussed this before, and I'm pretty sure that the town administrator is in favor of this as well.
Second.
Yeah, the revenue from the Whatever goes above the 50,000 limit, it would now be the 75,000 goes to the general fund.
Right.
But at some point, if they've booked the revenue from the inspections need to be done. So either
Right.
we'll have to fund out of the general fund or other revolving, so.
So this is really, we need to do this.
Because they're required to do those inspections.
No, the only reason I was wondering whether we should hold off was to give them their moment in the sun, but,
No,
We'll get them in anyways.
okay.
We already have
I
a
have a motion
motion.
by Mrs. Whiteside, second by Mr. Tattelbaum for favorable action. No questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, favorable action, 300.
Okay, state mandated measure is up for the 7th. That's for the, what, the triennial revaluation?
This is,
And to fund it?
this isn't just the triennial, this is the 10-year measuring list. This is the big one.
Okay, all right. Article 21, to fund the community events committee is on for the 30th. Community preservation articles are number 22 through number 30. Those are all on for the 30th. We don't have any dates scheduled yet for Articles 31 through 33, which are
Waiting for the
school
school.
articles.
Either the 30th or 7th. I'm waiting for Mike to get back to us.
Petitioned article on the street layout, we're holding off on the 7th for that one, in hopes that something will be forthcoming.
They're scheduled for the planning board, I think, in a few weeks.
Article 35 is Selectman Holmes' petition article for CETA to convey the Bay Point land. That is on for the 30th,
Correct.
as he's the petitioner for that one. The last is to amend the petitioner's article that we voted on earlier tonight regarding the gasoline stations in the commercial general district, which we already voted on. So that concludes tonight's examination and favorable action votes on the warrant.
Point of information. The West School actually was given to the school control in the last 15 years, according to all of the homework that I've been doing. So, just point of interest.
Okay, then. Didn't have it long, did they? Okay, going down the agenda here. That takes care of town business. Is there any other town business not reasonably anticipated 48 hours prior to the posting of this meeting? Selectman Whiteside? Chairman Slavin? I have none. Sewer business, any sewer business? None. Town administrators report.
Thank you very much. This is a reminder that starting next week on Monday, Wednesday and Thursday, town hall hours will be 8:15 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Tuesday, 8:15 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. And town hall will not be open on Fridays. We want to get this out as much as possible and allow the public to utilize the extra hours and make sure that people don't have to leave work in order to do their business with town hall. In fact, I had somebody come in today that said they took the day off from work, and I explained that they have to come back for another item, and that we do have these office hours, and the gentleman seemed pleased that although he's coming from Boston, he won't be able to leave at probably 4 o'clock and get here 4:30, but it doesn't have to take an entire day off from work. So next week, I'd like to bring before the board the July and August expenditure reports. We're a little behind on those, but we can get them up and running, and that'll bring us right up to where we are. Friends of the Wareham Library, they are chomping at the bit to get the Spinney lease done, and there are a couple of items that we want to work out, and I'll bring it before the board, any of the items before we'd sign the lease. This Wednesday, this is an interesting thing. We have a webinar for the Vadar accounting system, and this is the first time they're really offering something where we can utilize their software for budgeting. Right now, whenever we do anything, we're essentially manually transcribing numbers, even though they can export it into Excel, but we're manually transcribing numbers and putting budget reports in Excel, which is it's extremely time consuming. So if the numbers are already in our accounting system, this one could free up a lot of time. So, and I've bored the rest of the Board of Selectmen, but I'll keep on going.
Comes with a lightsaber, the new system.
Spoke to Mr. Gay from GATRA today. They're looking to expand some of the services that they have for the elderly in town. As part of it, look and see if the COA member, Pam Dudley, the last person that we have, because she's grant funded, if we can have her do some work which would be qualifying the seniors for it. It looks like there will be some money for the town in doing that, which could actually bring more services to some of the elderly. So
I spoke with Frank earlier today, explaining about what's happening in Wareham, because I missed the meeting this morning, from a group that GATRA has to actually sponsors, of all the different organizations that help the elderly, help the disabled, etc., that don't have transportation availability. So I think this is an offshoot of that, and I explained to Frank that I thought that Wareham in particular is going to need quite a bit more transportation available. So that's great. That was about an hour time frame.
yeah, it was very quick. It's,
Yeah. Good to know.
there was a knock on the door, and Mr. Gay was in my office. So.
Well, I explained to him how many new things were coming, just for the public. We're slowly becoming a little bit of a regional medical center. I was at my eye doctor's last week, and Ophthalmologist Consultants of Boston, which opened a new facility in Plymouth. I was quite disappointed, because I was hoping to be in Wareham. They told me that day when I was there that, this was Dr. Morley, that they voted the day before all the associates to go ahead and put a facility in Wareham. And we've also been contacted by a primary care facility in New Bedford, sponsored by the city of New Bedford, with conjunction with South Coast Hospital, and they want to put a facility here in Wareham as well. So we're slowly but surely becoming because of our location, a regional area to help all these things. So it's a real positive piece of industry for us. It's going to require transportation in and out of the area, so I'm hoping that works for everybody. Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Anything else?
Monday, September 29th at 5 p.m. in the Town Hall Auditorium. CETA will be presenting a parking study that they've had for the downtown Wareham parking area. I've already got calls about how many kiosks we're putting up, where are they, so...
The answer was 0.
Yeah, the report's actually interesting, because there's always an impression, and seems to be people stating that there is no parking available whatsoever, but the utilization is close to 60%, I think. So it's I'm not going to steal any of the thunder, but it is a very interesting report. And the last item is the LED light upgrades have been completed in the town hall and the multi-service center. And tonight we'll be looking outside to view the parking lot, because with the extended hours, especially with the winter coming, we're going to make sure that the parking lot is lit up properly for everyone for safety's sake. We also, as part of the LED light upgrade, we were able to utilize our bucket truck to save money for the town. Otherwise, we were going to have to hire out for it. While we had it, it was asked if we could use it for both fire districts. And as part of, just basically working together and trying to save everybody money, we allowed the usage of that. So just trying to work together. And that's the last of the updates. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Any questions of the town administrator, Mrs. Whiteside? Mr. Titlebaum?
None.
None. Consent agenda? Actually, sorry, liaison reports. Didn't turn the page over far enough.
Yep.
Mrs. Whiteside, anything?
Yes, thank you. I attended the Library Board of Trustees meeting on September 18th at the library at 5 o'clock, where there was a substantial amount of business discussed, including the plans for the future, what is the future for the library, and other trustee matters. The trustees do have a website, and they do have a mission statement about what they want for the library, for the community. They asked for my input, and I basically told them that the money that had been appropriated at the April town meeting was all spoken for, that there was really no money available Not that they have any warrant article before us. But basically, they were looking to see what kind of support they might be able to garner from this board, including an override. And I said that I could speak for myself, and I thought I could speak for at least one of the two of you who are present here today. The voters spoke, and I am not going to be supporting any override articles in the next couple of years. It was very, very plain and spelled out. Our 5-year plan had the override passed. And I actually would suggest, I know this is a little bit of work, Mr. Sullivan, but I think maybe if we put up an abbreviated 5-year plan, this is what happened, or this is what is going to happen because of the override not passing. I think that the document was very explanatory. Some people don't feel that way. And so I think that we need to, I can talk with you further about that, but you know, there was a plan, even though it couldn't be set in stone except for the first year in terms of the expenditures. The library does have some funds still available to it. They also have the foundation and the Friends of the Library, which are supportive groups. And I think that it's a dedicated group of individuals who are really trying very hard to make sure that there is more time available for the public. So they've actually changed the hours, and I believe that was in conjunction with you and the director, Mr. Sullivan, in terms of how many hours the library is open in the evening. Because we have had, for a year and a half, people saying to us, I can't get to the library by 5 o'clock. So now they do have some evening hours, and I know that because I sat before the meeting, I sat and just watched the traffic. There are a lot of people who do, in fact, use the library. So they have asked me to be a regular attendee at their meetings. I have to say that I will next time wear my body armor. Because it's a group who are rightfully angry that there is not a whole lot of support that they can see from the town, from the selectmen, in terms of, you know, where we're going. I pointed out that personally, I think a library is an important, very important piece of what a town should offer. That people that I know who moved here 20, 25 years ago came because there was a new high school, there was a new library, and the price of real estate was reasonable. Instead of being on the up, we appear to be on the down, and that bothers me tremendously. I have asked that they explore further working with the schools, possible funding from the schools, because there are no libraries in any of the school except for the high school. And the library that I grew up in, the librarian would probably have some kind of seizure if she saw the high school library. It's not what older people think. And our library here is a community asset. And I think that as a community asset, available to, we'll call them lifelong learners, whether they're 2 or 100, that they need the opportunity, they deserve the opportunity for a library. So I will be regularly attending their meetings. And they are looking for, I think, 3 members of their trustees. There's also a Friends of the Wareham Library, and there's also a foundation. Foundation is a 501c3, so any of your donations are tax, you can get credit on your tax return for those donations. And I'll just remind you that on November 7th, you're going to see a whole lot of your favorite actors and actresses doing a murder mystery, as we did last year at about the same time. And That's all I have, thank you.
Well, I see Mr. All right, we're going to say he doesn't have anything. I really don't have much. I actually went over today to Conway on the Bay. It was their one-year anniversary from their grand opening last year. They've grown quite a bit. They've been very successful, and they're very supportive of what the town has done to help them and what they've done for the town. And that's all I have.
Motion to adjourn.
We have some minutes to accept. Mr.
Oh,
Tyler.
excuse me. Yes, we do. We have the minutes of August 26, 2014, regular minutes, and I will move that we accept the August 26, 2014 regular agenda.
Second by necessity.
All those in favor?
All right.
Can we do that?
Yep, 2-0.
Okay.
Actually, wait a minute. Peter,
Just say yes, Peter.
minutes.
August 26, 2014.
Just need you to,
Because I had some.
Oh, we'll come back to those. Can we just get this motion off the table, please?
What are we voting on, which minutes?
August 26,
August 26,
2014.
Peter.
Has a motion been made?
Yes.
Motion
Has it been
seconded.
seconded?
Yes.
Yes.
So?
All those in favor?
He has to say that, not you. Aye.
I already did. We waited for you. Vote is 3-0-0. It's always fun in Wareham, man. Motion by Mrs. Whiteside, second by Mrs. Slavin on that.
Yep.
Next set of minutes.
September 16th?
No.
No?
Yes.
Yes.
September 16th, I move that we approve the Board of Selectmen regular meeting minutes from September 16th, 2014.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Titlebaum, second by Mrs. Whiteside. Any questions? None heard. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 3-0-0.
Next up is the executive session minutes from September 9th, 2014. I move that we approve and hold those minutes.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Titlebaum, second by Mrs. Whiteside. No questions. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 5-0-0.
3-0-0.
3-0-0. End of the day.
Now we can hear Leo's.
Mr. Titlebaum, why don't you give us some reports you have?
Yeah, met with the Beach and Tourism Advisory Committee on Friday. We had the pleasure of having Paul Cripps from the Plymouth County Development Council in to advise us on next steps in terms of promoting the town. He has advised that we should set up an independent, or to support the setting up of an independent entity that can solicit funds from the business owners, could also possibly solicit funds from Community and Economic Development Authority, and maybe the Community Events Committee if they survive the town meeting, in order to promote the town by way of joining with the Plymouth County Development Council's website. Plymouth has already done this. They've established a Destination Plymouth is the name of their organization. So there isn't much to be done here in terms of reinventing the wheel. Obviously, anything Wareham does, since we aren't quite the tourist draw that Plymouth Rock is, and the Mayflower 2 and all that stuff, would be a significantly lighter effort, but nonetheless, Mr. Cripps is very much a professional in the field. He's been very successful in bringing more people to the county. He really wants to engage with Wareham and get us up and running, so that's something that we're going to be looking to do. I would imagine that soon we will have a report from the chairman of that committee recommending to the Board of Selectmen the sort of effort, and we'll go from there.
What kind of an organization would it be? I'm sorry. You said a separate organization. Would it be like a 501c3, or are you talking?
Yeah, it would be something that would be incorporated
Okay.
for the purposes of promoting tourism in the town.
Thank you.
So it would be for the town, but not by the town.
Right.
All set? Motion to adjourn by someone here?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Titlebaum, second by Ms. Whiteside. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote is 3-0-0. Good night, Wareham. Thank you all.
Thank you.